What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Who You Got with
Melo.
and Rado. It's a sports podcast where we talk your favorite sports debates, sports highlights, and sports matchups. And if you guys are watching with us right now, please make sure you go ahead and click that like button below. Make sure you guys subscribe to our YouTube page and our Facebook page. We love every single one of y'all, and we want you guys to keep following along on the sport journey. We got all these topics to talk to you guys about. Also, if you guys want to check us out on Patreon, we got a lot of cool things out there. If you want to ask us some general questions about the show, or if you want to make some topics that we could possibly discuss on here, even you could possibly even be possibly a guest interviewer if the price is right. You never know. But anyways, check us out on there. We also want to make sure you guys are following along on our personal pages. I'm at the Iconic Dude on Instagram and Mello.
Melo the Notorious.
That's right. That's right. So I hope everyone's had happy holidays so far, and we got some really cool things to talk about you guys today. Mello, take it away.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We are pretty much right up there to Christmas, and as all-time favorite. While some families love watching football on Thanksgiving, the other end of that coin is Christmas NBA games. So that's what we're here
Sure.
for today. We got a stacked lineup of five NBA games this year coming up, but we're actually not here to talk about that. Though preparing for our episode about that, we actually started reminiscing about just classic Christmas games and Christmas moments. So that's exactly what we're here today for. We're going to go ahead and go over our top Christmas game. Me and him will pick our own top Christmas game from recent memory, and also our top Christmas moment. Not the same game either. So, because sometimes there's games that just
Right.
really live up to the hype. They're giving you everything that you need. And then sometimes there's just a moment in one of those games where it's just like live in infamy and it
Mm-hmm.
just becomes one of those iconic moments.
Yeah.
So that's what we're here to give you. It's NBA's has almost what 20 plus years of classic Christmas games, at least
Yeah.
30,
30
because
plus
it
years.
wasn't always like
Actually, no,
a
40
tradition.
now. It's actually 40 now.
Right. It wasn't always a tradition. I think the first finals rematch to ever happen wasn't even until like the 90s.
Mm.
So that was like something that like really they didn't really push that Christmas schedule. But as you know, the last at least decade plus, they have been
Mm-hmm.
really setting up Titans and classic matchups on that Christmas day to make sure the fans are getting everything they love.
Right. No, that's true. I mean, it's always been like iconic games though. That's one thing people know about Christmas Day games, and
Hmm.
people always love waking up to watch those Christmas games. You wake up, you start watching those games pretty much midday, and then you go to
Right.
Christmas dinner, and then you go and watch those games again. But they're always iconic games. It's always the top
Hmm.
teams, even if it wasn't like necessarily the finals matchup from the previous year. It's usually the top ranked teams or the teams that are coming in at number one ranked at the time, or at the beginning of the season. So, it's always some great matchups. And this year it doesn't disappoint. And we're gonna talk about those Christmas Day games this year as well later on in the show. But why don't we just go ahead and get into it? We're gonna go into our favorite Christmas Day game, right?
Yeah. The game itself. So obviously, all y'all should know by
I'm
now.
interested. I'm very interested to know who you got. There's a lot of choices on these games.
There's a lot of choice. So I'll be honest. What came to me first was the moment, and so since I already had my moment picked, it could have easily have been the game itself.
Hmm.
But then I was like, what other recent game I specifically remember just like it got my strings and emotional pull. So obviously we'll go back to any game that the Celtics playing. Obviously as a Celtics fan, any games that we playing hold like a little hold like a little difference in me when it comes to passion. So I'm going to take you back to 2018,
Hmm.
Christmas Day, Celtics versus 76ers. We got an OT win. I think it was like 121 to 114, a lot closer than it was. We were actually down, but that was just pinnacle. We had just got to the deep playoff run the year before, lost to LeBron and his trash team in the Cavaliers. Kyrie was injured, so that's when Jason Tatum really broke through. We had Scary Terry, um, and obviously Al Horford holding the fort down.
Hmm.
We had 4-1 Philly in the playoffs that year en
I
route
remember
to the
that.
finals, and we held that was an infamous Ben Simmons 1 point game, where we were the first team that basically sagged off for him and was like, you could do what you want.
You
So
guys really did hold him down though. Like in that game, I remember Terry Rozier was on him like in that game holding him down.
it was ridiculous. It was just you love seeing what Brad Stevens was doing in those days with defensive coaching.
Mm.
Um, so then they come back next year. We faced them in the first game of the season. We beat them again. And at that point, it was kind of a rivalry. I think that was the second year in a row we played each other. But they really didn't have an answer for us. At that point, we got Kyrie, Jason Tatum, Jalen Brownson. They come in their own. Al Horford, Gordon Hayward back from injury. It looked like it was a good team. Marcus Smart, obviously. Uh, but then before we got to the Christmas matchup, they went ahead and shook things up and decided to go get Jimmy Butler right before the trade deadline, and that was the difference. So pretty much, um, Jimmy Butler, Kyrie healthy, Celtics pretty much in full force. 76ers in full force. At that point, they had Butler and B. Simmons. Reddick was still playing the two.
Ooh, Reddick was
They
on.
had, Shamet, TJ McConnell. Like they didn't have the best bench, but at that point, you didn't really need it. But Tobias, I'm pretty sure if he was there, he was injured because he didn't play. Um, So good game on Christmas. We were down. It was 108 to 106. Kyrie hit the game tying shot over Butler, pretty much 13 feet out fadeaway, for him to send it into overtime tied.
Mm.
Uh, with that, we pretty much go into overtime. Kyrie scored 40 points that night. Had a hell of a game and only scored six in overtime. But after they took like a 4 or 5 point lead, he scored two back-to-back threes to pretty much give us the lead by one. And we end up closing it out. We kept them playing good defense where they didn't score, and we end up winning. Like I said, 121 and 114. But for me, amazing game to watch. We were coming back from behind, end up hitting a game tying shot to go to overtime. Those two dagger threes. Um, at that time, like there was no denying who the most cold-blooded killer on the court was with a ball in his hand. That was before that was the one injury, but that was before any like real like extensive time off. We all know he still is that guy now, but that was coming right off that championship run. Of them, beating the Warriors. He wanted to get traded, him, trying to be the alpha dog. So it was good to actually finally see him, have one of those games where he put the pin both times for us to take over. 40 points, 5 for 10 3, 10 rebounds, 3 assists, 1 steal. Still a classic because, like I said, you got dogs on the other side. Joel
Mm.
Embiid had 34 points, hit all 12 of his free throws, 16 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. And other honorable mentions are pretty much 24 points from Jimmy Butler. Obviously, Ben Simmons, whack ass, only got 11 points. But
I
he
was
did
gonna say
have
that Ben Simmons was
eight
terrible that
assists,
game.
14 rebounds. I'll give it to him. Yeah,
He had the
yeah,
rebounds. Yeah, he had the
yeah, yeah,
rebounds.
he did what he was supposed to do. And on our end, JT and Marcus Morris, who we had at the time, both gave us 23. So we definitely, it was all Kyrie that night, if I'm being honest. Even Jalen, who's come off the bench at that point, only gave us 4 points. So
Mm.
yeah, it was all Kyrie that night. Classic game. And for me, that was one of the best Christmas games in my recent memory.
Yeah, that was an incredible game. I remember watching that live. Actually, I was
Oh,
watching that
so
game
good.
and watching Kyrie on Boston. Like I know that he wanted his own team. He wanted to be the alpha dog, like you said. Like you made some great points about like him going into that season and what was going on with Boston before he even got there.
Hmm.
And it was incredible to watch. Like he took that team like literally on his shoulders. They were down a lot of the game and they actually came back. I think they were down by like 6 at one point in the fourth quarter.
Oh
And
yeah, we were pretty much down
and
by
like with
like
3 minutes left, they
yeah.
were down by 6
Yep, you're right.
with 3 minutes left and obviously they came back and took it over in overtime. But Kyrie like had those 40 points and like you said, that that game pretty much showed why he was the best dribbler in the game, best crossover at this time.
Yeah, over
And
Butler, some of those tough shots, and the reason why it's so important because pretty much once they got Butler, it was pretty much there was no Brooklyn yet, there was no
mm,
KD, there was no Kyrie, so at that point they got Butler, and it's all right. It's gonna be Philly and Boston in the conference finals.
I mean, you thought that was a big three there. You got Ben
Right.
Simmons, you got Embiid, and you got Jimmy Butler. That's a big three.
So
Plus,
for us to beat
I
them,
mean, yeah, for you guys to take that in Christmas Day,
hmm
and Kyrie pretty much said that, yeah, I'm taking this team. I'm gonna try to take them as far as I can,
so we
and
thought,
it was a lot of young guys on that team though. If you think about it, on Boston at the time,
yeah, I
you
think
had
that was
Jalen
Jason
Brown,
Tatum's second year, Jalen
right?
Brown third year. We had Scary Terry, we still had Marcus Smart. We did, Gordon Hayward finally came back. You know what I'm saying? Like it was supposed to be that squad, man.
Yeah, but he didn't come back till later in the season. But still,
No,
for
he was
them
there for
to
that game. He only gave us 5 points.
oh, was he? All right, yeah, but he wasn't starting, right? He was
No,
a
no,
bench
not
player in that
starting.
game.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Him and
remember
Jalen came
that.
off the bench that year because we
I
had
remember that. Yeah.
Smart, Kyrie,
Yeah.
Jason, Morris, Horford.
Yeah.
And that
Horford
was supposed to
starting.
be
Yeah.
a deep bench with Hayward, Rozier, and Brown. That was supposed to be a deep bench.
Yeah, I was at that point. I was even surprised that Brown was on the bench, honestly, because I always liked Jalen Brown. Even at that time, I thought he should have been
We needed
always.
that defense
I know,
because
I
Jalen
know.
Brown wasn't the defender he is now.
Nah, not at all.
And
And
still,
honestly,
Marcus
well, he
Smart's a
wasn't a
better
scorer
defender.
either.
And he
Like he
wasn't a
wasn't a scorer
scorer
like
either.
Kyrie was,
Exactly.
at that point. But honestly, that's a great game. It was a really great game, and I remember watching that game in recent memory. It was incredible to watch. Going into overtime was obviously fun for a Christmas Day game as well. But I'm gonna go with another game that actually happened in 2018. Uh,
Same year?
Same year,
I didn't even
and
know
it was
that.
this. But the crazy thing is that was a great year
I was
for
about to say
sports,
it really
and a
was.
great year for Christmas Day games. And this game went down to the wire as well. And it was the year that James Harden was coming back to OKC. I mean, obviously it was a few years after he left OKC to go to
Houston.
Houston, but this is his MVP year where he really showed out. At this point, James Harden was pretty much putting the Rockets on his back. He didn't have Dwight Howard anymore. And Russell Westbrook was there with Paul George. Actually, Paul George was on the squad with Russell Westbrook, so it was would have been a tough looking matchup. Looking at Houston to come back and try to beat a team like OKC. OKC was the number one team in the West at the time, going into the Christmas Day games, and Houston was, they were they came out very like soft and early in the season. They were 11 and 15, and then they won 7 games or 6 games in a row going into the Christmas Day game.
That's
Now,
right. Yep.
my man James Harden, like he at this time, this is the year, if you remember, he was averaging like 36, and at this point he was still averaging like 35 points a game. Uh, he was going off that year. Obviously, he was averaging 10 assists as well. He got on a roll going into that game. Harden scored like 30 points or more just 6 games prior, and this was a record, making it the first player to do it since Russell Westbrook. And he scored 35 in the last 5 prior to this game. That was a record to Carmelo Anthony, your boy.
Hey.
But he was the first one to do it since him. But that's how good of a scoring run he was going on with a team that wasn't doing that great. But going into the Christmas Day game, he had all the momentum, and going against the number one seed in OKC, you would have thought that it was going to be an uneven matchup, two superstars versus one. But Harden said he had all the confidence there, and they were down in this game a lot, honestly. They were down by 17 at one point in the second quarter, and then the game kind of steadied back up in the third quarter. But in the fourth quarter, the Thunder, they were up by 2 points in the last 43 seconds. Paul George made some free throws to get him up there, and then Harden came in and he drove past George, and he got a nice little layup to make it a 4-point game with 20 seconds left. Now, at this point, Russell Westbrook was still trying to show out. He was still trying to do his thing, and he got fouled. So you would have thought that he was gonna be able to at least bring it to one possession, but he was only able to get 1 out of 2. Him with his free
We
throws.
know that. Right,
You
right.
know, he doesn't always make those, but Harden pretty much took over at the end. He made the last jumper at the pretty much to tie it off to make it a 4-point game, and then they couldn't come back, and uh, in the free throws because Russell Westbrook missed one, and Austin Rivers tried to make a free throw with 7 seconds left, and he did, and Houston secured the win. Now, and my man James Harden had 40 points this game. He was just balling out at this moment. He was literally making his team the number one team in the West. Like I said, OKC was the number one team at this point, but after this moment, it seemed like Houston was just on a tear in the NBA because they ended up, I think they won like 60 games at the end of the season, if I'm not mistaken. But it's insane, like how bad they were at the beginning of the season and how they ended up. At one point they were 11 and 15 in the season, and they ended up, I think, with 58, or they ended up 58 game wins, 58 wins, and that year with Harden. He ended up with the number one seed that year, if you remember. That's when they lost to Golden State.
No,
But
what's crazy is how they had nobody. Like a lot of people don't realize. Like I remember I was watching a podcast that Draymond Green said. 'Cause remember that was the year they really tried to like they shot themselves out. Oh, they shot themselves out the playoffs. Like you said, they lost to Golden State.
right,
At no point was Golden State, and Draymond said it, like they was never actually scared of Houston.
right.
And because yeah, think about it, like looking back, like we thought they were so good because they shot the lights out, but James Harden really did all that with a fucking team of PJ Tucker, Daniel
Eric
House
Gordon was
before
their
Daniel
second best
House,
player,
Eric
and
Gordon,
I mean they
fucking
had
Austin Rivers, Gerald Green. Like he had
I mean
nobody.
they had Chris Paul, but Chris Paul was injured most of the year. He was out for
Mm.
like 50 games, and then he
And
came
he
in the
even played that
playoffs. Remember,
right.
he came in playoffs, and that's when Harden didn't really play good those playoffs.
Because the ball
But
was in Chris Paul hand. You know what I'm saying? They did everything for the whole year. So no, it really amazes me what he had to go through. And that was a hell of a game. I remember exactly what you're talking about. My man really had 41 points. The shots and the threes he was hitting
mhm.
over literally Paul George and Russell, both of
Paul
them.
George was one of the best defenders in the game, like literally
Exactly.
hitting him over him, and honestly, like he made himself to seem like the best offensive player in the game at this point.
Oh yeah.
With just on the tear he was going on, and just all the momentum that the Houston Rockets had at the time, they were winning games because of him. Like it's
That's when he
because they
started that
were.
travel step back that became unstoppable. Basically, I know a lot of travel, but
I mean,
that
it
that
is
that's the
actually,
it
but
is
they
it
they
is
switched the rules for him.
no right. But that year, that's when he really first like started going ham with it and that
Yeah,
ISO ball when he had no one else around it, and it was ridiculous, man.
definitely a crazy game, and I mean, it'll definitely go down in James Harden's history, in one of his best games for sure.
Oh yes.
Obviously, he has had some terrible playoff runs, but as far as his regular season games, that goes down as one of his best regular season games for sure.
No, and it's so funny because they actually played each other the Christmas before that as well.
Hmm.
And that was
They
James'
did,
first year,
they
and
did,
that's when they
and
still had Carmelo Anthony over there at OKC, and
yep,
they won by 5 points. So
OKC
they
won
were
that
they
one.
were
Yep,
yeah
after.
OKC won. So they
I
were
mean, yeah,
really
before
setting
that,
them up like year after year. So the next year they James Harden came back by himself,
hmm
took
by
care of
himself. Because
business.
before that,
Exactly.
remember I think they had Dwight before that,
They
the year
had Clint
before.
Capella.
Oh, they had Clint. No, my bad, my bad. They had Clint at that
Well,
point.
they
Yeah,
had
that's right.
they had Clint the next year as well, but at
Yeah,
that
yeah,
point they were really steering away from that style play. That's
right.
the year basically that Clint became useless before they finally like just got rid of him. So it wasn't even like he was there the in 2018, but like he wasn't useful. Like
Yeah.
he didn't do anything. And like I said, not just on the stat sheet, but if you really remember that type of play, like I remember used to get mad, like bro, you got one of the best centers right now in the league, like use him.
True that though. True that. I mean, you would think so. Like it, and he was a great shot blocker as well too.
No, yeah,
That's
and
crazy.
that's the only reason why they kept him. But on offense, they felt like he was liability. Like he only played like 20 something minutes that one night.
Right. Right. Yeah. I mean, a lot of people blame that game, that Christmas Day game, on Westbrook. He pretty much lost it because he took a three at the end and he missed that one out of two free throws.
But that's Westbrook.
But that's
I've been
Westbrook.
saying that for years. A man literally takes the most unnecessary threes, whether he's leading or coming back at the end of a game in the fourth quarter. My man takes the most unnecessary shots, and then like I don't remember. I'll be honest. It's been like 3, 4 years since I updated this stat.
Mm.
But a few years ago, I literally seen that he was the worst percentage shooter in the fourth quarter.
Yeah,
That was when he's still on
that's very true.
OKC. That was when
Yeah,
he's still on OKC. So it had to be one of these years,
yeah.
and that shows it. That's one of those instances right there.
I mean, that's the reason why they used to take him out of fourth quarters
Hmm.
for a reason like that.
Because not
They
only
used
is
to,
he bad, he used to still take the shots. Like, bro,
right, like
like
stop taking those threes, bro. Like
like
what you
yeah,
doing?
literally, you're not gonna hit
You
it.
thought he's Curry for a second, but nah. But I mean, both of those were great games we talked about.
Hmm.
Obviously, Boston,
Crazy, it was the same
Philly,
year.
crazy that was the same year,
Because I
and they
didn't even know about your game. Yeah.
came down to the wire, both of them, and
Hmm.
they were back and forth, both of these games. So we'll talk about. It's not like they were one sided at all. But we're gonna go into the best moment now that we've ever seen, or even like, I mean, honestly, that
No,
I've
mine is
seen.
that I've ever seen on Christmas for
Same
sure.
here. I was gonna say
For
mine is
sure.
too. I mean, this might show my age a little bit that I'm an old head, but also shows like some of my favorite players in the game. And my moment, if I could start it off,
Go
is
ahead.
is actually a very emotional moment because it doesn't even have to do with a play in the basketball game. That's the crazy thing about it.
Oh.
Yeah. So I'm gonna bring you back to a time in a galaxy far, nah, our galaxy, just a time far, far away. It was 2004, and in 2003, 2002, the Lakers had their little three-peat, and 2003 happened. The Lakers got out in the first round. Shaq and Kobe had a tremendous relationship. They were really like pissed off at each other at the end of the season, and you know honestly, the Bus family really had to figure out who they were gonna keep, Kobe or Shaq. At a time they were really thinking about trading Kobe, if you remember, to Chicago.
Yeah.
Kobe was gonna get traded to Chicago and play with Derrick Rose for a little bit, if you guys remember that. But what really happened was Shaq got traded to Miami, and he
Hmm.
went down there with Dwayne Wade. And in 2004 was the first time that Kobe and Shaq got to meet back up. 2004, the Christmas Day game. And it was really a crazy moment because before that, you didn't know what was gonna happen. Like they were obviously like the media really blew this thing up. Like they really hated each other. That they were both against each other. And for a time they were. They were really competing against each other. If you remember at that time, who was gonna get the next ring? They were both competing for who was gonna get the next ring because everyone was thinking, you know, Kobe can't be the same without Shaq, and basically Shaq can't be the same without Kobe. But Shaq did have, Dwayne Wade on his sideline, and Kobe, he didn't really have nobody at that time. He had Andrew Bynum, who was a low draft pick, but he wasn't the same as Shaq. But just going into
Right.
that moment, going into that game, you didn't know if they were gonna shake hands, they were gonna hug, or they were gonna play pissed at each other. And you know, it was a pretty good game. Kobe came out. He finished with 42 games, 6 boards and 3 assists. So Kobe, he had a great game, but Shaq had 24 points and 11 boards, and Miami took it, in overtime, 104 to 102. 102. So it was actually a great game. If we were going for greatest games, on Christmas, that could
No,
be a possibility for
I
one,
no,
but
I literally just looked. It is.
it could
Still
be.
to this day. No, no, no. Still to this day.
A lot of people do
The
say that, but
2004 Christmas game holds the record for the most watched
it,
Christmas game of all time.
a lot of that is the moment.
13.18 million.
Yeah, a lot of that is the moment. That's why they watched it. People were watching that moment. They were watching Kobe and Shaq going on the middle if they were gonna play against each other. But there was no really exchanges that tip off. They didn't really acknowledge each other. But during the game, Kobe and Shaq, Shaq is kind of playful though. That's the cool thing about Shaq. And Shaq came out, on the 3-point line, and he pointed at Kobe and he was like, "Come here," and he was started like praying like he was gonna cross him over or something. So Shaq does his little playful thing in the third quarter, but the game was actually very tight, and they didn't really like talk much during the game, but it was really like everyone was like looking at it as like what was gonna happen to both of them, where their trajectory is gonna go, and obviously now looking at it pretty much almost 20 years later, 18 years later, obviously Shaq had 2 rings after. Or I'm sorry, he had 1 ring after that. Excuse me, my bad about that. He had 1 ring with Dwayne Wade after that, and Kobe
Hmm.
had 2 rings after that. Paul Gasol. So, you know, Kobe probably had the last laugh, but at that time, 2004, Shaq had the first
The
laugh
left,
because
right? Yeah.
they won that game in overtime. So at that time, it looked like Shaq had the better team, with Miami, and he made the better decision. But really a crazy, crazy moment. I remember, watching that. That was probably one of the first Christmas Day games that I actually watched in the NBA. And great moment for sure.
No, definitely. I could say I remember that game, and I wasn't even into basketball that much at that point. I was still a little young. The numbers itself prove it. Highest rated Christmas game on top of the highest viewership. The next one that comes in is LeBron versus Kobe in 2010.
It's a
Great
brutal
matchup. Yeah, yeah,
matchup.
yeah. So yeah, no, that's an amazing moment. Kobe, uh, pretty much was determined to show that he could do it on his own. Shaq went with Wade and pretty much like we getting this done. Like you said, Shaq got the first laugh. Kobe ended up getting two more. Um, it's definitely crazy to see because two people got together, won some rings, and now they went ahead and got separated. Each won some silverware other places, but definitely when they come back together, you love to see those clashes in those matchups.
Yeah, and one thing about that, even Shaq will admit that the media did kind of hype up the way that they kind of hated each other, and he
Hmm.
kind of had to play into that persona. And he was at that time he used to be like the lovable guy in L.A. He was Shaq, and for a few years in Miami, he was kind of looked at like as a hated character because the media was like kind of against him and saying that he shouldn't have left or whatever. They were just like they were kind of hyping it up more, and he said on different interviews that the relationship could have gotten better if him and Kobe would have just talked during the season and they wouldn't have just like listened to what the media was saying.
You're right. No, 100%. But at the end of the day, they were still brothers and they did love each other. And they
Sure.
both, came to common ground. But it's definitely good basketball for us to see those rivalries. Um,
Legends of the game.
exactly. My favorite Christmas moment don't
Yeah,
come
what's
from
yours?
friends.
Who you
They
got for
don't
this
they don't come
moment?
from friends.
Hmm.
And this one, I promise you, everyone know exactly what I'm talking about. So funny because, like I said, I picked the moment first, then I picked the game.
Hmm.
So while I was talking about the game, Celtics over 76ers, Kyrie hitting the game tying fadeaway jumper over Jimmy Butler. As I was writing my notes for that, I'm like, that sounds so familiar, and that's
It's like it's the
because
same game.
it was no, it literally felt like it was the same game. I'm like, oh, duh, that's why it sounds familiar, because that's my top moment. You already know when I say Kyrie hitting the game winner over someone on a Christmas day, you should know what I'm talking about. The
Hmm.
teams I'm bringing up, like, look, let me set the stage. Just let me set the stage real quick. 2016, 2015. I don't care how much slack I'm going to take for this. 2016, we witnessed the greatest team ever assembled. The greatest team ever assembled
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
beaten. And now he's not my GOAT. You know how I felt about LeBron. He's not like, to me, Kareem Abdul Jabbar is the GOAT for me. But I've
Right. Then
always said,
MJ and then LeBron, right?
not even close. I've always said if I had to go into a computer lab and pick a prototypical basketball player, make me a prototype. I'm making LeBron with a better jumper.
True.
That's all I
True.
need.
LeBron's got the best NBA body that I've ever seen.
With the best
Pause.
NBA
But
skill set all around. Like,
right.
that's why I said prototype. The size, he could still guard 1 through 5. He's
Right.
IQ,
I could
ball
do a little
vision,
bit better
his
defending, but
scoring.
I agree. I would
He
still.
can't. He just don't try.
Yeah.
He got the body and the skill sets for it. You know what I'm saying? He don't try. So for me, watching the greatest team to me ever assembled, because ain't no way that team was supposed to lose. Like, I don't care that they won the championship. I promise you, I'm gonna catch a lot of slack for saying this too. The what was it, 70? What was it, 79 and
73-9 they won.
73-9?
And yeah.
Warriors still beat every other team in history,
Yeah, and
in my
I would
opinion.
probably agree with that because I think this, like you said, greatest team
Team,
assembled,
exactly. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
not
That was the
greatest players
greatest.
assembled, but
Right.
greatest team assembled.
The
Like
way they
Harrison
played,
Barnes on that team,
fluent, the
exactly,
most magical basketball I have ever seen. Ever
exactly.
seen. It made no sense. Like, I used to hate them and watch them. Like, I loved them. I loved
Yeah,
watching them because they were so good. Like, yes,
yeah,
even like All
I
that
had
happened.
NBA season ticket at that time, and I was watching every single game of the Warriors that season.
It
Because
was just
Curry was going
it was
off.
nothing
That was
like
one of the
nothing
seasons
we
where he
ever
was off
seen.
going off.
Exactly, unanimous MVP. That was like nothing we've ever seen. It was literally amazing.
Broke the 3-point record for a season at that time.
Exactly.
Mm.
So we setting the stage now. LeBron come in, what Kyrie and Love after losing the first year by himself, he comes back with his full squad. It looked like the Warriors even got better. They broke the regular season record,
Right.
destroyed everyone in the West.
Right.
Get to the finals, 3-1 comeback. Here comes your boy, greatest comeback in finals history too. On top of that, so everything just sets the stage for all right. Series is tied 1-1. All right, the Warriors look like they got a little better, but the Cavs are showing with their full strength. They're ones to compete. On top of that,
Mm.
LeBron is looking like Thanos out here. I don't know how the hell Iggy got an MVP for doing what. I don't know what he did, but he didn't stop nobody. Um, but it was just coming into next season, a lot of hype. Then the Warriors went and got KD, the best
Best
team in regular
player in the game
history. Went and
at
traded
that.
their one of their key pieces for one of the best scorers on this planet. So I'm like, oh my God, like, we getting spicy out here. The matchup is getting heated. Here
The
comes Christmas
Avengers
Day.
got another
That's what
superhero
I was
over there.
saying. The Avengers said Thanos not doing us like that. We coming back. So now we come to Christmas Day. Game was every single thing it was supposed to be. Every single thing. I'm talking about Richard Jefferson dunking on people and catching bodies, everything it's supposed to be.
That's
Like
right.
the
That's right.
game, like I'll be honest, like I love that Celtics and 76ers game we just talked about, but if I'm being honest, the best Christmas game I really have ever seen was this one. It just it made no sense. Warriors went into the fourth quarter with a 14-point lead. Now that game winning shot over Butler we just talked about had one thing in common. Your boy Kyrie. Kyrie came in pretty much spectacular through the fourth quarter, scoring 14,
Hmm.
taking his team on a run, including the moment. It's so funny because I just talked for 5 minutes. I didn't even get to the moment yet.
And real
But y'all
quick though,
know the moment. Yeah, go
before
ahead.
that moment, the way that the Warriors won that, I'm sorry, the way that the Cavs won that finals against the Warriors was Kyrie hitting a big shot in a big moment in the
Big
fourth quarter
shot
in a game 7,
over Curry in game
20
7.
seconds left. So,
Exactly. So he set the stage. You're right. Thank you. You're right. You're right. Because that he set the stage in the finals. Like, yes, I understand. I'm Robin to the Batman, but I'm here and I'm making noise too. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. So fantastic 14-point lead. That the Warriors got. Cavs start coming back. A big part to Kyrie. Pretty much. I think Durant fumbled on his no, that was after. Yes. No, Durant fumbled. So pretty much it was 1 point game. They was playing defense. The Warriors had the ball. They're playing defense, and at that point they tried to pass it to Clay, who was wide open in the corner, but the bell went off. The buzzer went
mm,
off, and the 24-second violation. So he actually
damn.
hit that three,
Right.
but he was literally about 1 second too late. So now
Wild.
13 seconds left. Cavs down by one. Ball gets inbound to Kyrie. He just pretty much zooms down the court, gets past, and I remember thinking like, all right, like, what are we gonna see here? Like, all right, are we gonna see a screen? Is he gonna like because like, they used at that point everyone was screening everybody. The whole Warriors and Cavs rivalry was trying to get a screen to get the weakest defender I can on this ISO, and pretty much like that's what both teams did to each other because at that point they were so well versed with what each other had to do, they basically had to try to pull out that weakness like purposely.
Hmm.
So I'm saying, all right, is LeBron going to come and set the screen? Maybe pretty much get the pick and instead of coming down and going into the basket, maybe hit the fade and come out to the three. Is he gonna hit the screen so maybe his guy gets switched? But at this point, do you want Clay guarding you or do you want
Right.
KD guarding you?
Right.
Like
Or
I'm like
KD, like
so
which one?
that's what I'm saying. So I'm literally thinking, all right, what's gonna happen? And so as I'm thinking this, Kyrie's pulling up past half court, Clay's on him. I'm sitting there thinking like, damn, what is about to happen? Are they gonna
What's
set
about
up a
to do?
play? They got 9, or I got 10, 9. Before I can even formulate all that in my mind, Kyrie just drives in, goes all the way to the baseline on the right side, pretty much stops, hits the spin, spins all the way around to hit the fadeaway jumper on what I may say was the best defense I've seen.
Right.
Clay was in his face. Like the spinning fadeaway gave him just enough space to his
Mm-hmm.
hand to get hit as the ball left it. Like Clay was on it, but man, oh man,
Yeah.
mama, there goes that man. And it's
Right.
so funny because my moment in my game both included Kyrie, and both included Kyrie hitting crucial shots over top-notch defenders
Right.
when it came down to it.
And Kyrie, he really had some big shots in that fourth quarter, man. I'll be honest, like
14
he,
in that
yeah,
fourth.
and he had a steal going into in that like the last 2 minutes of the game
He
that
stole it from KD. That's what I'm saying.
exactly,
KD
and
fumbled
that
it.
went into another free throw that pretty much tied it up at that point,
You're
and
right.
it
He
was
stole it
obviously
from
going
KD.
back and
Yep.
forth and back and forth then, but it was just an insane game to watch.
And
And
those Christmas unis.
true. Honestly, I didn't like those Warriors ones, but the Cavs ones was
You like the
nice.
red ones? Yeah.
Yeah, I like the Cavs ones, but but it was a definitely an incredible game, an incredible moment for Kyrie. Showed out again. I mean, Curry had a good game by himself, and so did KD.
No,
But
everyone had a good game. It was just like that's why it was such a good game. Like Curry, Kyrie, KD, and LeBron all did what they were supposed to do. But it
right
was Kyrie who stole the show by stealing the deal with a tough game winning shot over Clay with 3.4 seconds left. Nothing to do.
now, I mean that's definitely true, and he definitely had some pressure on him, because obviously before that Curry was the one that hit the three, and he made it up by three.
hmm
So
And then that's
before
why they
before they went
traded
up by two, yeah.
possessions before like one didn't score, then
Then they got some free
then
throws,
they
and then it
got the
was
free throws,
108
and
to
then they got the
107.
steal. Exactly. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
no, Curry definitely hit a game would have been a game closing three if Kyrie didn't step up. You're 100% right. Yep.
But watching that
Yeah.
closing moments, like he was incredible in that game, and honestly, like he just does that. He's so good at those closing moments in the games. I've always said that he's one of the best closers in the game. I know people will hate me for saying this,
No, he
and
is.
I'm gonna get a lot of hate for saying this, but LeBron has never been one of the best closers in the game, but Kyrie should
Statistically,
be.
he is.
I'm as far as a passer, yes.
Well,
I'm
no,
talking about.
statistically, he when he takes a shot, statistically, he makes it more than most, but he gets hate because when he feels like that shot is not the best play.
Here's the thing. I
uh,
count the way that the NBA counts it is different the way I count it, because the NBA counts it as in game tying or being down by one or two.
Right.
I count it only when you're down and you make a winning shot. If you're tied and you make that shot, I don't count that because there's no pressure. You're going into overtime. So LeBron is very good in those moments. LeBron is so good in like those moments when they're tied. He'll go up and he'll hit a three. He'll hit like he's done that plenty of times. But
I
when
mean,
you're down,
you take that stat away. That's a lot of people's game winning shots.
very
So
true. That's very true. You're right about that. But Kyrie is up there and that's that. Like when you're if they're down by one or two, and then they make a game winning shot. Not just tied.
yeah,
Kyrie is like
no,
up
and
there
that's
in
the thing.
history.
And so it's yes and no, yes and no, because it's so funny because we just mentioned between the best moment I just mentioned between the two threes and the game time overtime shot over the Sixers I just mentioned. You mentioning him hitting that three in Game 7. Do you realize that Kyrie just hit his first game winning shot in his career last week for the Brooklyn Nets?
But I mean I guess but
Game
you're
winning.
calling that a game winner when the clock strikes zero. I'm
No,
counting it as
that's what I'm saying. So
I know.
he's
Yeah, I know
hitting
what you
very
mean. I
crucial
get that.
shots
Yeah.
when the clock is winding
I
down
get what you're
in the
saying. Yeah, yeah,
game.
yeah.
But at the end of the day,
I
he
count a
actually
game
hasn't
winner.
hit
I know.
no game
That
winners
you're right.
besides one. And that's
Tech-
funny because I'm thinking to myself, you got to think about it, bro. Legit game winners.
I
I
get
don't
that.
think there's people who
Technically, you're
there's not
right,
even
but
there's like a handful of people who have five. Literally,
right, no, technically
legit
you're right.
game
But I look
winners.
at
There's
game
like a
winners
handful of
as
people who
like
have five.
you got the last possession, and you're down by a possession, and you're going up by a possession, and you win the game that way. That's what I look at it, because that's what happened in
He
the
got a lot
finals.
of those. He got a lot of those.
He's got a bunch of those, and I mean LeBron. I'm not saying LeBron doesn't. LeBron is still like around like 28% actually. It's pretty good. Like Jordan is at like 25%. So it's not like you know that Jordan's not that much greater anyways. It's just that like the way that I look at the stat compared to the way NBA looks at it is like a lot of guys can hit those shots when it's tied. You want to know who's gonna hit those shots when you're down. But
Nah, Kyrie's that guy.
Kyrie is definitely that guy. Kyrie is, and definitely shown it in a bunch of moments. Definitely
Oh
showed it
yeah.
against pretty much one of the greatest players ever assembled with Steph, Draymond, Clay, and Kevin Durant for sure.
Oh no, that was a squad for sure.
Yeah, but that's our moments. That's our games that we had. And if you guys want, please write some of your favorite moments down below. We want to hear some of
Yeah,
those.
favorite
You guys have
moments, favorite
your favorite
games.
moments?
There's a
Yeah.
lot we left out, man. There's a lot we left out. Like I said, we had 2010, 2009 Celtics versus Lakers
It's a
finals
good one.
rematch.
It's a good one.
Fantastic one.
The 2010
2015,
one when LeBron went to Miami and the first time they
that
they
yeah,
faced the Lakers.
Miami versus Lakers.
That was a good one
2015,
too. That was a good
Cleveland
one.
versus Golden State. OKC versus Miami.
Yep.
Back in like 2012 when they had their little big three before Harden was Harden. Miami
Honestly,
versus
there
Dallas
was one
rematch.
that I even forgot. Oh my, what would you say? Say that again?
Miami versus Dallas rematch.
Yes, yeah, that was going after Dallas won their
Hmm.
their finals win. There was one that we forgot though, was the Jeremy Lin game. Jeremy Lin was in a Christmas Day game as well. So,
Oh, we
and he
talking
had
about
like
Knicks
20.
versus Lakers in
Yeah, he had like
2012.
25 points.
Yes,
Yeah,
Knicks
he
versus Lakers in 2012.
he balled out that
Yeah,
game.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Don't say there's a lot of good Christmas memories. Knicks have some good Christmas jerseys.
yeah, they do. They always had some good
They
ones. I'm
always
not
some
gonna
good
lie.
Christmas jerseys. Yeah, yeah.
But I mean, speaking of like those Christmas games, let's go through. And speaking of really the Knicks, let's go through like some of the, because they always play on Christmas.
Always.
And let's go through some of these Christmas games.
Yeah.
We're gonna do a little prediction, like little who you
Couple who
got
you
on
got.
the
Yeah.
2022 Christmas Day games that are gonna be going on. And like I said, speaking of the Knicks, we got Philadelphia 76ers at the New York Knicks. This game is gonna be at noon, so it's gonna be early Eastern time, playing in Madison Square Garden. Who you got for this one?
Um. Honestly, man, I like what the Knicks have been doing lately. I think they're. I don't know if they just lost. But before yesterday, they were on like a 7 game win streak. Um. I'm not sure if they're playing like right now or if they play today. But basically, Joel and Julius Randle is going to be a great matchup.
Hmm.
No Tyrese, so pretty much Brunson versus Harden.
Yep.
So I think it's gonna be a good matchup of superstars. Tyrese is that clutch coming for that third spot when it comes to the 76ers.
Hmm.
Knicks don't have one. But even then, I feel like with a little bit of a deeper bench, I'm going to take the 76ers. I think Joel
Mm.
Embiid's on a tear right now. He's literally on a 33-point average. And the last couple games, he's been finding his own again. James Harden looking out for revenge right now, coming back from injury. And like I said, the Knicks have been playing good, but they also haven't really been playing anyone that good. And obviously, same with the Knicks, inconsistent. So I can't really trust anyone on there. So yeah, I definitely got the 76ers. What about you? Who you got?
Nice, nice. So I'm gonna be honest, man. I might surprise you with this one. I think the Knicks have been playing on a tear, like you said, and I just honestly I just believe in Jalen Brunson. I think that right now he is that dude in New York. He's been balling out lately, going on a scoring rampage. I mean, Julius Randle's been finally back in the lineup, you know, doing some work, but
Hmm.
he's been injured on and off this season. I do think that right now, like you said, Joel is really on an MVP kind of run like he was last year. But for some reason, I just have a feeling about Jalen Brunson. They're playing in New York. I think he's gonna kind of go off. He's been getting like 30 points a game the last few games. I think he's gonna do it again. He's gonna probably hit like 34 points, and the New York Knicks are gonna win it.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. I'll be honest. I would like New York to win in New York on Christmas. That would be nice. I just don't know if I trust anyone else besides Julius. I'm not Julius. Besides Brunson to actually go off.
Right, right.
And
I agree with that. Yeah.
that's actually an issue I have with this next game. I don't know who the hell is going to go off besides one person. And that's our 2:30 game, Lakers versus Mavericks.
Yeah. Let me hear this one. Lakers and Dallas. While I go get this
Uh,
battery real quick.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Go ahead.
So pretty much this one is injury after injury. For the Mavs, we got Dory Finney-Smith. I don't think he's gonna be back. This is a couple days before Christmas, so we're not too sure. Josh Green, definitely not coming back, and obviously Kleber is not coming back. So
Right.
with that
Kleber's
being
out.
said,
Kleber's out.
exactly. Luka pretty much going to be by himself. But he doesn't have to handle much. Not too sure about Russell Westbrook's status, but it doesn't look like LeBron and Anthony Davis will be playing this Christmas game. If
Damn.
anyone, if anyone, LeBron will be. LeBron might actually no. LeBron's not setting out Christmas. No, you're right. He's been
Yeah.
day
I
to
don't think
day.
Brown's
I
gonna
don't
sit
think
out.
LeBron's gonna want to set out Christmas. So
Yeah.
basically, I think it's just gonna be LeBron versus Luca, and a bunch of role players pretty much playing each other. So at that point, oof, I didn't make none of these picks yet. So I want
That
to give
sounds
the
good.
edge towards Luca, but hell, it is in Dallas too. Yeah, I'm gonna
Yeah.
go Luca. I'm gonna go Luca. And my
Nice.
man's
Nice.
going
So
32, 8-8. He's gonna go off.
right. I mean, he's going on an MVP caliber season. He's really balling out lately. I mean, I think you had Luca as your MVP in the beginning of the season, and right now you're looking like Nostradamus out here. So good stuff on that one. I mean, I did
I
say
hope he
early in
lose.
the
I'll tell you
season that
that.
what is it?
I hope he does lose though.
I mean, I did say early in the season. I mean, when we had that podcast, I was like, you sure you don't want to go for Jason Tatum?"
I
I
didn't
was like,
think
"You
he was gonna
sure?"
do this well with JB next to
I
him.
know. I was like, "You sure about that?" Well, I didn't pick him either, but
Yeah.
anyways, I had John Moran, but that's besides the point. About this Lakers game, I'm a little bit disappointed that Anthony Davis is going to be out. He's been on a MVP type of like season two. Like the
Oh yeah.
last 15 games, he's had like some insane stat lines. I'm
Oh
talking
yeah.
like 35, 15, and 5 blocks. Like to me, he is going to be the defensive player of the year for sure this season. He's averaging like almost 3 blocks a game, so I think he's up there,
If
and
he
he's
stays
over.
healthy.
Yeah, if he stays healthy, if he gets over like 65 games, he'll get there. But I think that in this game he's not going to play, so I do think Luka Doncic is going to take over. I got Dallas winning this one by 7.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. Not much you can really say. The Mavericks probably look a little bit better than the Lakers, and neither one got defense. So we all know Luka's gonna score 30 plus.
Yeah, yeah, I expect him to do that too, for sure. I mean, honestly, I expect him to get 40. It's
No, for real. I
Christmas.
do. Exactly.
It's
That's what I'm saying.
Christmas.
He's
Like,
about to go off. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. I hope he goes off.
Oh, it'll be a good
That's
show.
gonna be like an MVP type of performance, like
All right.
for
Hey,
Christmas.
well, all I know is we got to stop Giannis from stopping my boy from putting another MVP performance on right after that.
True that.
Because I'm not having that. And you want to tell them what game that is?
So we got your boys, the Celtics and the Milwaukee Bucks. They're gonna be playing at the TD Garden in Boston, and this is gonna be a 5 p.m. game. You know, everyone's gonna be having dinner. They're gonna be all stuffed up, ready to watch this game. And this is a rematch of the Eastern Conference semifinals from last season. Bucks lost to the Celtics in 7 games. It was a very close series, if you remember.
Hmm.
And Chris Middleton, he was out of that series early, and he didn't really get to play you guys. So he's gonna be. I mean, he's supposed to be back, but nobody really
He's not
knows. I
coming back.
mean, he's back. You think?
No,
Or
he's
no?
not. He's
No,
not.
he's not coming back. I mean, they're still saying that he's like day to day, so that's why nobody really knows.
He
Nobody
got
knows when he's.
downgraded from questionable to out today.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't think he's gonna be back by Christmas.
yeah. If they have him out now, then because they had him at day to day, so
Right, and now they got him out. So yeah, I
yeah,
don't think he's coming back for Christmas.
right. So I mean, you really can't expect him to do anything, but I expect Boston to really win this game. Jason Tatum, Jalen Brown both get 30. They're gonna win by 10. What about you? Who you got for this one? I know you're gonna be excited
Do
about this
you
game.
gotta do you gotta ask?
Not really, but I want your input though.
Yeah. I would say these are who you got. It's like these Christmas games. I didn't have to be unbiased. We're not here to be unbiased. It's not
Right.
a. We did our Christmas research. This is just us picking. So damn well I'm picking the Celtics. But
It's
obviously for
just
some reasons,
Celtics
like you
on a
said,
tear this season.
Marcus Smart might be back. Other than that, we got Robert Williams back. He's trying to find his own. We have been playing like slobs lately. We're 5-5. Dropped 2 games straight to the Pistons. This not the Pistons though, Magic. So we have been playing like slobs lately. Now we're actually 1 game behind the Bucks. We're second in the East.
So this is gonna be a
Uh,
fight for the
this
first
is
game
a
of
fight exactly.
first seed,
So
pretty much.
without Middleton, I think we once again overpower the Bucks, especially with Robert Williams back. I do think we are a little bit better defensively for Giannis. So yeah, I definitely give us this game
Nice. I expect that too. I mean, I think that you guys are looking like the best team in the league. I'm very surprised about
for
the Bucks
sure.
though. Like the
And that's the
Bucks are
thing. The Bucks are coming together. But in the East, it's a long season. And like even
definitely a
bro,
long season.
we just watched what the Warriors get scraped by like 30. Like this, it's so
And
many people lose, people win. So it's gonna be a long up
they
and down
do.
season.
They do kind of. They win, they lose. But honestly, if we're gonna talk about like who's having a bad run right now, let's talk about the Warriors real quick. The next
That's
game
right.
on
That
the
is the next
docket
game.
is Memphis Grizzlies versus the Warriors, and the Warriors have been really playing terrible lately. Um, and they're missing Curry now. They're missing Thompson,
They
and
have
they're missing
no
Wiggins,
bench. Yeah.
and they got no bench right now. So who you expecting this one?
Oh, that's easy. It's gonna have to be the Grizzlies. I mean, at this point, I'm looking through the injury report right now. Um, yeah, D- Danny Green is still playing.
Yeah. Danny Green. Yeah. What do you mean?
Danny Green
He's
is
a 3-and-D
still.
guy. He's that dude.
No, I just didn't know he was getting like he hasn't been really
Getting
getting
paid out
minutes
here.
exactly. So I forgot like I just seen him in injury report. I'm like, God damn, I forgot Danny Green's still here.
Right.
But yeah, Desmond Bane's out for a few weeks with that toe.
Yep.
So
Desmond
yeah,
Bane's out.
Grizzlies easy. I would say JJJ's back. He has been playing good. Getting back to his own. Besides Desmond, John Morant is on a tear, 27, 6 and 7. And like without Curry, without Clay, and without Wiggins. Poole could drop 30 all he want, man. They can't defend out there. And freaking your boy, what's his face? The triple single king. Draymond Green.
Draymond Green.
Draymond Green probably gonna keep passing to random people in the stands. So yeah, the Grizzlies are definitely about to win.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much said it. Like the Warriors, they're looking bad right now with no bench. Obviously on the other side, Memphis got Jaren Jackson back, and he's been playing decent enough. Not back to the level like he was last year, but
Right.
John Morant is going to be able to like take this game and take over. He's going to be able to get over 25 and 10, I think, 10 assists, and I expect Poole to drop like 27, but the Warriors are going to lose this game. It's going to be 108 to 100 Grizzlies.
Now, but I really think what's more interesting to me is how they're just losing altogether.
I was going to
We're
say
not
even
gonna.
with
We're not.
Curry.
I was gonna say we're not gonna stay. I just want to say one thing.
Go ahead.
How do you fumble one of the best modern bigs we've seen in the last 5 years? Make him useless and then give him to the G League. You're not gonna tell me his skills just disappeared. That's all I'm saying about that. That's all I'm saying. I just had to throw that out there because you said Jaren Jackson Jr. And you're just thinking like, because I was gonna say their big three is out, and I'm like, well, they should have a big five with the lineup they have, but I'm like, oh, they threw away their center back to the G League. So yeah, whatever.
I mean, what are they putting out there? Steven Adams?
What happened?
They're putting out there, what, Steven Adams? Is their
Oh
center
no,
now?
no. I'm talking about the Warriors.
Oh, the Warrior. Oh, you mean Wiseman?
Wiseman,
Yeah, yeah. They put
yeah.
Wiseman. Oh, I thought you meant
No.
they
I'm talking
had
about the
Bane back or
Warriors.
something like.
Nah, because I was about to say the Warriors
Oh
don't
no,
got their big
that's right. Because the
three.
Warriors they were playing Wiseman in the G League. Yeah, because he
Yeah,
was
that's what I'm
injured.
saying. No, they don't think he's useful. They don't have like his skill set no more,
Damn,
and that's
number 2
crazy to
pick.
me. One of the best modern bigs we've seen. Like, you're not gonna tell me he's just not good anymore. Because I was literally about to say that what all brought it to my head. I was about to say like the Warriors got their big three out, and then I was like, all they got
I didn't
left
even know
is
they
the
started
other
to do
two.
that. They started putting him out there in the G League.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it's been a while. Well, they stopped
yeah,
playing
they
him
were dropping him.
altogether. They
Yeah,
stopped playing him, and now he's in the G League. Yeah.
yeah.
Crazy.
Wild. That is crazy. Yeah, I mean, definitely, they definitely fumbled that. They
Fumble it.
definitely fumbled that.
You
Crazy.
know, it's their play style. Because the other teams that we're about to talk about, Suns versus Nuggets, was the last game, have
And I was
shown
gonna
that
say
you can
Wiseman kind of
use
plays
two
like
good
DeAndre
centers.
Ayton.
That's
He
literally
does. Yeah.
it really does. And you would think in the West, the Warriors have made it without a center ever, but don't then go draft a center to then pretty
I
much
mean,
get
you
rid of
drafted
him.
him to play against these type of teams. The next two teams, Phoenix Suns at Denver, they both got amazing centers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But why don't you tell us why the Phoenix Sun Denver actually got winning records?
So I'll be honest, like this is probably gonna, even though it's the last game on the Christmas game docket, it's probably gonna be the most exciting one out of all of them. Like, yeah, the other ones. I mean, I know you're gonna be excited about Boston winning. I know
Oh
the
yeah.
first one, Knicks and Philly, is gonna be exciting, and the Warriors game, too many missing stars, so not as exciting. But this one to me is gonna be the most exciting. Right now, Denver is looking really good without Jamal Murray and Michael Porter again. They're both missing time again.
Exactly. And
My man,
Jamal's day to day.
yeah, Jamal's day to
So
day, so
he
he might come back
might be
actually.
back for Christmas. And
Michael
then when
Porter
he
might not be, but
Michael Porter's out, but Jamal's actually when he in and when he's out, he find a way to actually play well. He's been balling out lately, but they don't need him.
yeah, but honestly, like my man Jokic has been playing very great. He just a few nights ago, my man Jokic was the first player to ever get 13, 13, and 13. 13 points, 13 assists, and 13 rebounds. I mean, I don't
What you
know how
mean?
they had
Before
that as
that,
a
my man
stat.
had 20 boards and a half with like
Like
40 points in the game. Like he won.
he
He's been
gets
going
these weird
off.
stats, but like
Yeah.
he balls. Like I mean, he does his thing. So honestly, I expect Chris Paul and Booker to ball out in this game, but I just think Joker is gonna ball out by himself, and he's gonna try to win this one, and he's probably gonna try to get another 30 points and 10 assists.
Oh yeah. Like it's crazy because like I said, I don't think he's winning MVP. Neither will Giannis. Um, and it's funny because you can see it in the voting this year as well. No matter how great they are, we've seen everything you can give us. We need a little bit something. And it's so
Give us something
crazy to
extra.
say that.
Yeah.
It's
Hmm.
so crazy to say that to generational talents.
And you were right about that. Yeah, you said that early in the season. I remember you said that
They're
you
gonna
need to
be
see something.
amazing this year, but the voters aren't gonna vote for them again.
Hmm.
But it does not take away from once again the amazing season Nicola's having. 24, 11, and 9. Literally like one assist away from a triple double, and that's only because he has to do a little bit more scoring. But like I
True.
said, for me, the way he gets that next level is that 24 got to go to 28,
Right, right, right.
and that's why we're gonna see a great game on Christmas because we're gonna see him do everything.
Hmm.
But we never get to see him go out there and really dom like it's not consistent. You know what I mean?
Right, right. That's true.
So yeah. So either way, I think the only one that's gonna be out really is Michael Porter Jamal. Let me check. I think I checked the Suns.
Yeah, for the
Who they
Suns,
got?
I mean, they're pretty much healthy. They're looking
I
all
think they
good out
are.
there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they're coming in hot right now. But and
Whoa, Devin Booker's day today.
he, I mean, he played just 2 days ago. So I don't know if he's
Yeah,
gonna
I'm gonna say
be
I didn't hear anything about him getting injured. He's day to
right.
day. Cameron Payne is out with the foot injury. Cameron Johnson definitely not coming back anytime soon. He got hurt in the Pelicans win. So they might be short staffed. So yeah, even so now we're looking at two teams that are short staffed. But at the end of the day, Nikola Jokic, he's the one person in the league that he can pretty much take any team
Hmm.
and win because he's
You know
gonna
what?
he's gonna
That's a
give you a
good point.
point, he's gonna give you assists, he's gonna give you rebound. He can win with any team, and he's taken some
That's a
very
good
basic
point.
teams to deep playoff runs in the West when Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr. is injured. So I think he could do that this Christmas.
I'll be honest. I think there's only like three players in the league that could really
Three.
do that by themselves, and that's probably LeBron, KD, and Jokic. I really think those are
And you
three
know what?
players that they can go on any team and take them to the playoffs. Not maybe win a championship with any team, but they can take like the worst team in the league and by
Hmm.
themselves get them to the playoffs. I think.
And it's crazy because KD, to me, it's only LeBron and Jokic because of their assisting skill set. Now, KD is an underrated
He's
assistant,
underrated assist man
underrated
too. My man
defender.
averages
Like
6 for his
going
career.
to Brooklyn has actually not developed because his skill set's been there, but it gave him a chance to take on different roles. But I wouldn't put him in that category just yet because without Kyrie last year, they all barely made it to the playoffs.
We definitely never seen him by himself for
And
sure.
we,
Like
we
you've seen
never
LeBron
seen
by
him
himself,
exact, and that's what I'm
you've
saying.
seen Jokic by himself,
Exactly. So for
but you
me,
never really seen
Jokic and
KD by
LeBron
himself for
are those
sure.
two generational talents. And probably
But
even Giannis. At the end of the day, Giannis brings everything.
you know what?
He
That's a good
just
point. That's a
he
good
just
point.
probably needs
I
an
shouldn't have missed
assist
them.
man.
Yeah, I shouldn't have. I definitely shouldn't have missed them. Yeah, I
Because
totally
Jokic and
did.
LeBron, their skill sets are so like what they bring. You like the
But
assists.
Giannis has
They're
those
making,
defensive skill sets
and
too.
that's what I'm saying. Giannis' defensive skills will make any team better on top of his offensive prowess. So he will elevate
That's a
any
good
team.
point.
But no, Nikola Jokic and LeBron James are the ones that can pretty much take any team in the league and win with them at a consistent level because of their
Yeah,
skill sets.
I mean you've seen it consistently with Jokic for the last like
Hmm
4 years. He like pretty much
And you've
Jamal
seen it
Murray
with
and
LeBron for
Porter's been
majority
out.
of his career.
Exactly. Like the first, after like the seventh, eighth
Before and
period.
after Miami, basically,
Exactly.
except for what 2 years in Brooklyn. I mean, 2 years
Exactly.
in Cleveland when he won one and lost one. But after that, he was just dragging teams of bumps.
Yeah, I mean he made it with some of the worst
Oh,
lineups in the
that
history of
was
the NBA.
2018 team that got scraped by Durant,
I
Mister.
wouldn't I
Uh,
wouldn't call that a bad lineup. That
that
was a decent lineup.
no,
Nah.
2018 when he
Nah.
beat us, when he beat us without
I remember
Kyrie.
Isaiah Thomas
Yeah,
and when he
yeah,
was balling
no,
out. No, not that year.
no, we had
Was it?
Scary.
Oh, okay, yeah,
We
all right.
had Kyrie.
Yeah, it
No,
was
I'd
either.
say we had Kyrie,
No, no, yeah, I was
and
thinking of
and Kyrie
the year
was
before.
injured.
Yeah,
The year
yeah.
he basically what's his 50.1 blunder when fucking J.R. Smith didn't fucking put the ball
Yeah,
back in the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
basket
First
game
game
one.
of the
Yeah,
yeah. They
that
had to
was
go
the
to overtime because of that.
worst finals team ever taken. Hands
I
down.
mean, yeah, Dellavedova, I guess you can.
Hands down.
Yeah, but
Literally,
I mean,
J.R. Smith,
Kevin Love,
fucking
he was in.
Amon
You got to
Shumpert,
understand, Kevin Love
Richard
was there the first
Jefferson.
game, and second game he got injured, so he was technically there for those finals.
But even then, like they had nobody right about. Nobody was
Kevin
worried
Love was an
about.
all star still,
That's it. Yeah, that's literally it. Like
but
Amon
he got
Shumpert
injured
and
second game of
J.R.
the season
Smith.
or second game of the playoffs, or sorry, second game of the finals. Excuse me. So yeah, they were pretty much. You're right. Like once they had like Dellavedova starting at point, like yeah, they were bad.
Yeah,
You're
that
right.
was literally the worst finals I've ever seen.
Crazy,
Um,
crazy for
but
sure.
no, not worst finals, worst team.
Worst
But
team for
yes,
sure.
either way, so
But I
76ers
still I
versus
still agree with your
Knicks.
point. Still agree with your point that those are the three
Those are
guys:
yeah.
Giannis, Jokic, and LeBron. Those are probably the three guys. I still put it KD in there just because we haven't seen it. I think he's got the skill set if he stays healthy on a full season, but we've never really seen it, so I can't debate about
See,
it.
for me,
But
I
I
can't because he barely made it to the playoffs last year, and then when he did make it to the playoffs, him and
but he
Kyrie
did
won and
make it.
got, but then him and
That was
Kyrie, so he made it to the playoffs barely, but then he actually got help and they got swept.
true, but I mean most of the season he was playing decent most of the
No, and
season.
that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
like
So for me, I don't put him on that level yet because I've seen Giannis make a deep playoff run with no one but like he didn't have no one last year. Middleton was out. When he faced us, he gave us everything he had. Game
yeah, he did.
seven,
That
my
was a tough
man put
series.
everything on
That
the
was a
line.
tough
We had
series.
to fight our ass off. I seen that. I haven't
He
seen
still
that
got
from
Drew
KD
Holiday
yet.
though. He still got Drew.
Bro, Drew, we love Drew, but that perimeter defender can't even give you 12 points a game. Like, come on, stop it. Like that's what I'm saying. Like he had no help that series, and that's why he lost. He had no help.
True,
So
true.
yeah, I haven't seen K. That's what I say. We've actually seen all three of those people in those situations and still make deep playoff runs.
And I promise you, like, and this is just a prediction, and I'm having actually, maybe I can't promise it, but I think it will happen. I think by the end of his career, KD will be on a team where he's a, lone guy. He's a lone wolf, and he takes a team with
I
by
mean,
himself.
I don't fault
I think
him
you're gonna see
for
that.
it because I always have the saying like musicians, artists, like listen, we not with them shooting in the gym. I don't give a damn what they're doing. They're entertainers. So as long as he's shooting the ball in the basket, then that's perfectly fine by me. That's what I care about.
Right.
But the reason why I say that I don't fault him for this, but he's shown time and time again that's not who he is. And by the time that become who he is, he's gonna be too old. That athleticism is what's carrying him right now. He does not have the skill set like Jokic and LeBron, where he can be in age
I don't
20
know
still doing.
actually. Actually,
No,
I
he does
disagree
not.
because I think shooting stays in the NBA with you. Shooting
He can
always
be a
stays.
shooter, but
I
do
think
you know
LeBron's
how
skill set
much LeBron, not the KD, you know how much he goes left and right, juking, cutting,
he does, yeah.
dunk. Like
Well,
once that body starts
he's
to
got knee
fail and the
problems.
athleticism starts to give in, he can still shoot over anyone. He's 7 foot. He's one of the best 7 foot scorers ever. But that KD we see now isn't going to be the KD we see now. Even LeBron, his aggressiveness took a step down, but he got so many other skill sets to fall back on. KD does too, but LeBron made his career off those skill sets. KD made his career off of dropping buckets on anybody's head.
I still think KD could live with being a Carmelo Anthony type of player where he just shoots buckets, kind of like Carmelo played last year for the Lakers. He could
But
end
there's a
up.
reason why Carmelo spent months and years trying to find a good team the last couple of years because the NBA doesn't want that player. It's not that he can't do
No,
it. Carmelo could
no.
still
I
be in the
think,
league right now, but they don't want him. They
yeah.
want the role player. They want the 3 and D. If you can't play defense, we don't need you to score buckets. If you're not the main guy, like we don't need that. Freaking Lawrence Dortz is over here, the fucking starter for
Balling out,
OKC,
but
balling
he's
out.
doing like 20 points a game though, balling out over
And you
here.
telling me we don't, you know what I'm saying? You telling me Carmelo can't be doing that?
I
But
mean,
he's there because he
if he
plays
had the
defense.
situation right, you're right, he
So
could,
that's
but
why.
you're right,
But
he's a
no, he did.
defensive liability. I just think
He,
KD is, yeah, slightly on a different level than
no, he's a way
these
better
guys.
defender than Carmelo for sure. So his digression isn't going to be as bad.
But that's
But as
definitely a
I'm
good
saying,
conversation to have. You know what? We should leave this conversation and we
yeah,
should have this one on a different episode, and we should definitely and get the fans' opinion. If you guys want to watch this one, please write below if you guys would want to hear this. The players that could take an NBA team by themselves to the playoffs or the finals. You
any
know,
team.
any team. Any
There's
team in the
only a
NBA.
few
Like,
teams. There's only a few players in this league that you could take them and put them on any team, and each team, no matter how they are right now, will become a winning team.
because I'll be honest, like if I was to debate this, I could debate it in a way that if I'm looking at each player, looking at them if they're healthy the whole season, could they do it?
Yes.
That's how. Because
Yeah, like a
I
full
would I would
team.
probably put 5 players out there. I really would. I would put 5 out there. It would probably be Embiid in there as well.
I mean, Kawhi got to be up there.
He's done it with
He's done
with the
it. That's what I'm saying.
Raptors. Yeah.
Granted, the
Yeah.
Raptors weren't scrubs, but they
Nah,
weren't
nah, but he's
They
pretty much.
weren't
I mean, he had
championship
Lowry, but Lowry
contenders either.
wasn't. Yeah. So we'll definitely table this conversation because that's a good one. I really like that one.
Yes, yes. So
Definitely
to
gonna.
cap it up, Christmas games. 76ers versus Knicks, Lakers versus Mavs, Bucks versus Celtics, Grizzlies versus Warriors, and Suns versus Nuggets. Hell of a game, and we definitely hope you and your families are going to enjoy all the NBA basketball, and hopefully we get to see and create our own new memories.
Exactly. Definitely hoping for some new NBA moments in this Christmas Day games, and I hope you guys just like I said, write down your favorite Christmas Day games. Write down, your favorite moments. We want to hear them all. We definitely love hearing all your guys' moments and seeing what you guys have to say, and it could be some historic moments that we didn't even bring up.
Mm-hmm.
We obviously went through some of the modern history ones, but there's some famous games back in the day. Jordan's played in over like 8, I think, Christmas Day games, so there's
Them
plenty to
Knicks,
talk about.
Bulls, Lakers, Celtics, them old 80s and 90s
Magic
games go
Johnson's been
ham.
in a few that have mattered, so there's definitely a few. And make sure that you guys click the like button below and share the video if you guys can, and subscribe on our YouTube channel and on Facebook. Also, if you guys want to go ahead and check out our Patreon, we got some really cool stuff on there. If you guys want to check out our merch on there, or you guys can just subscribe and ask us some questions, and we'll definitely answer them either on air, or if there's some really interesting topics, we'll definitely put them on air. Also, if you guys want to check us out on our personal pages, the Iconic Dude on Instagram, and Melo is.
Melo the Notorious.
That's right. That's right. And again, we really appreciate you guys for watching this episode, and I hope you guys have happy holidays this December and watch all those Christmas games, right?
For sure, for sure. You already know Christmas is right there. I hope you guys are taking some time to enjoy your families. This year it's on a Sunday, so that's hopefully a little better for some people. But we hope everyone out there happy holidays, Merry Christmas, whatever religion or holiday you celebrate. We hope you're having a good time with your family. And obviously, if you don't hear from us, we also hope you have a good New Year's.
Exactly. Definitely want to wish you guys, happy holidays and a happy new year from the Who You Got family. We're definitely going to be bringing in some really cool things coming in 2023 if you guys don't hear
Hmm.
from us, but definitely want you guys to be updated. So please follow along, and we'll catch you guys next time on Who You Got with
Mellow.
and Rado.
Peace.